Hello, my name is Donna Miller, and this is Vote Voiced Podcast. Vote Voiced is a 501c3 nonprofit that was created to get the vote out. I would like for you to send in your voice opinion message after listening to our podcast. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and visit us on Facebook and on our website at votevoice.com. I want to thank you for joining us today. We know your time is precious, and we are grateful you have joined our podcast today. Today, I'm going to ask you, are you registered to vote? If not, I want to give you an official website of the United States government. It is vote.gov. That's VOT.gov. You can visit this site also to register to vote. It is easy to use. Once you're at the site, there is clear instruction on how to register to vote. You just select your state or territory, which is to say, where is your permanent home? I also want to remind you that if you have only a temporary address, check with your local Secretary of State, and they will help you with all the information you will need to register to vote. Allow no circumstance to prevent you from voting. Voting is a privilege. Voting is a right. And it is a privilege that many, many people are working very, very hard to protect. So use the vote that everyone is working so hard to protect. I also want to remind everyone to vote in your state's upcoming primary. Again, if you're not aware of the dates of your state's primary, call the Secretary of State and they will have the information you will need to vote in your state's upcoming primary. In the state of Michigan, the primary date is March 10th. In the state of Michigan, you can sign up to be on a permanent absentee list. If you're not already on that list, call up your Secretary of State in wherever area you're living in Michigan, or you can call up your city clerk's office. Just whatever city you're in is the city of whatever clerk's office. If you live in the state of Michigan, check and make sure you're registered to vote. If you are sure you are registered, make sure to vote in the March 10th Michigan primary. No matter what state you live in, make sure you're ready to vote in your state's primary. It is important to vote in your upcoming state primary in order for your vote to be your voice in the selection of the nominees in your political party. This is the person you choose to run in the general election. Yes, your vote is that powerful. And you have the superpower of superpowers a vote, a voice. You can also go to www.usa.gov and find out more information about voting. It's not a secret. The information about voting, registering to vote, there are lots and lots of people out there. Vote Voiced is not the only one. As I've said before, there's the League of Women Voters. There is Vote 411. You can get information. MoveOn.org. Daily Costs. It's not a secret. This information that you should know, that you should have access to, should not be a secret. If you cannot find out the information that you need to know to vote, then you are facing voter suppression. And unfortunately, in this country, there is a great deal of voter suppression, as we know. So the more information you have, the more access you have on websites and with other organizations, the more you'll be able to exercise your right to vote and pass on this information. Ask your neighbors, ask your family, your friends, your co-workers, when you're having a casual conversation. Are you registered to vote? Are you going to vote in the state primary? Now, next, I would like to answer the question of voting online. As you know, you cannot vote online in the USA in a federal election. You as a voter still must choose to vote in person at your official polling place or use your absentee ballot. Once again, I always say, check your Secretary of State, your city clerk's office. I've never called the city clerk's office in any place that I've ever lived where they were not kind, where they were not informative, where they were not willing to help you. If you call your city clerk's office and you have difficulty with that person giving you information, maybe the person is having a bad day, just call again. And if you keep running in to the same thing where they're not helpful, they're not giving you the information, then in the state that you're in or the city or county that you're in, you could be facing voter suppression. Find out what you could do about that. Call the League of Women Voters and speak to someone there. Go to vote.gov and find out some information of how you can deal with voter suppression you might be facing. There are many, many people out there to help you fight voter suppression. Call the ACLU and they can help you and send you to people that you can speak to if you think you are facing voter suppression. Now, know your polling place on election day. Where is your polling place located? Know when your polling place is open and when your polling place is closing. Make a voting plan. Location, time, take a friend. How will you get to your polling place? Will you walk, drive, share a ride, call a Lyft or an Uber? Where are the children during this time? Are you a caregiver? Who will be there for the time you need to vote? Check. See if you may vote using an absentee ballot. Once again, call your Secretary of State, your city clerk's office. Vote.gov, League of Women Voters. Find out where your resources are. Pay attention so that you will become an informed voter. I also want you to remember the federal election is Tuesday, November 3rd, 2020. We all vote on the same day. No matter what party you support, we vote on the same day. Now, unfortunately, misinformation was circulating during the midterms of 2016. I was given this misinformation personally, so I am speaking from first-hand experience. In 2016, I was sent a text informing me that there were 2 different voting days. One day was for one political party, and the next day was for the other political party. Now, thank goodness, I was well aware that there was only one day for the whole nation to vote as one people, who just happened to represent 2 different parties. I politely corrected the sender of the text and moved on. This is why I think it is so very important to say it on this podcast. There is one federal election voting day. Everyone, no matter what your political affiliation is, will vote on that day. That date, once again, is November 3rd, 2020. Make sure you know what time your polls open, and close, and where the location is, and what identification you need to bring with you. What do you need to do to be able to vote that day? Check. Does your state have absentee ballot voting? Check. Now, on November 3rd, 2020, we will have the privilege of voting for our president and vice president, 1/3 of the Senate, plus all of the House of Representatives. In some states, local and state issues will also be on the ballot. Now, before I go, I would also like to remember that this is Black History Month. This is February, and it is a time we remember Americans who are often forgotten or ignored. Take this time of the month to remember someone for their courage and faith. And I want to send blessings and peace to everyone today. I'm Donna Miller, and you have been listening to Vote Voice Podcast. I want to remind you, please leave your opinion and the voice message. I would greatly appreciate your opinion of this podcast. Thank you for your time, and you have a wonderful day.